is after him. That could be picked off by Colt Cruz at the 28. He's loose. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Tigers.
Get it on the jet sweep to the short side. Up the sideline. Sam McCaffrey. He is gone. Touchdown, Ottawa.
Wilder's going to catch it right at the 50. Looking for some room coming down here to the bottom to the left. He's got a lot of room. Watch out. He's gone. He's gone, Coach. Wilder's going to take that 50 yards for a score. Bulldogs on the board.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gerken Companies, joined again by Neil Schuller and Tory Strock. I am Lynn Groll, ready for week number 9. Going to possibly decide a lot of the area conference champions this week, or at least a share for many teams in the area are on the line. Some are already actually wrapped up around this area as we head into the final 2 weeks here of the regular season. Can one of you guys do me a favor before we get started here?
Depends what it is.
This Southview helmet back here is hovering over me like a dark cloud after they didn't come through for me last week. So can one of you get rid of that helmet for me?
Oh, I'd be happy to.
I'm going to set it right over here, actually. Hand me that. I'll put it right here on my corner.
Get it away from me.
I got you, Coach Hardy.
And
Coach Hardy, I can't stand to see that thing.
And
make sure it's still in the frame. There we go.
He even put it on his head last
I did.
Monday.
Proudly.
Locked it right in.
For the Cougars.
Like Lee Corso, you stuck your neck out. And
now I'm 3 games back of Strock going into the final 2 weeks. That right there could have done me in. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You've been better off following my lead, Lynn. I know you wanted to pick up a game, but there's a time and a place to make a move. That wasn't it.
Week 9, boys.
Oh, and how about this? It finally feels like it. For crying out loud. That weather yesterday, Sunday morning, cloud, breezy, misty, chilly, damp. Give me that 12 months out of the year round. Even in July, I love it.
I agree.
I love it.
I don't like that hot stuff.
No.
Get rid of it.
You walk outside this morning, it was crisp. Oh, that's fall. Best time of the year.
I'm a hot weather guy.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Yep.
I can't take it either. No.
Oh, I love
now
this
you
stuff.
gotta, pack a duffel bag for clothing to a football game. You know, you're gonna go from 70 to 40, and
it's true.
That's all right. Well, I mean, you guys up there in the box don't have that kind of elements, but
please.
Tell you what, air conditioning at Clay Memorial Stadium
Friday night until the sun went down.
Yeah.
Then it got a little chilly.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful night last Friday for football, wasn't it? My goodness.
Great.
Absolutely fabulous.
This Friday's going to be same.
Yeah.
Could be
It's looking great.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate so far. Yeah. Knock on wood.
We're going to get some cold weather here at some point in the playoffs, but
better than that Western Michigan game Saturday night that had a 5-hour lightning delay.
Yes.
Was it Akron? Western Michigan, Akron?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
5 hours.
I don't think we've gotten a lightning delay this whole year, have we? Maybe the southern schools had one there maybe week 4 or 5 or so.
Yeah, I don't think
we've
not had one.
We've not had anything of those sorts, which is pretty rare.
It is rare.
Only delay I can think of is going back to St. John's heat delay in week 2.
Yeah,
I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
We're not going to let that die either.
That's kind of like a
shed light on it periodically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, before we get on to week number 9, we got to hand out our rock-solid performance presented by the Gerken Companies from week number 8. Let's hear from the Gerken Companies. Come back, and we'll get you guys' nominations for this week.
Who says a college degree is the only path to a fulfilling career? At the Gerken Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods with or without a degree. Gerken provides a generous benefits package, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. We're looking for rock-solid performers to help build and reinforce the region's infrastructure. Whether you have construction experience or are just starting your career, apply now at gerkencompanies.com/careers.
Thank you again to the Gerken Companies, the title sponsor of our podcast this season, and also the Rock-Solid Performance. The winning team will all get bracelets. Robbie Myers of the Gerken Company and myself will be out on Thursday night to hand those out and give you a quick speech. And also the Gerken Companies will be the sponsor of our basketball podcast, which is, boy, coming right up. Basketball practice isn't too far off here for local high school teams and around the state.
No, that's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be here before you know it. Do you give the bracelets when you and Robbie go out? Do you give them to coaches too, ball boys, or
coaches get? I believe just the kids get the bracelets. Now they do have some cups and whatnot for the coaches.
Oh, cool.
Because I know Andy Schaefer sent me a picture of him going to one of their games, and he had his Gerken Companies mug out, and he had some coffee in there a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's very cool.
So you think about an average of 50, 55 bracelets, average, big schools, small schools.
There's been some 80s.
Yeah, and then you go to, Eden won it.
Yeah.
It would be fewer, so average 55.
50's probably fair.
Man.
Yeah, there's been some usually 60 to 80 to, some have been down in the maybe 30s and 40s. So yeah, 50, 60, somewhere in there.
And end up giving away 1,000 of those things when it's all said and done.
At least.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Quite a contribution from the Gerken Companies.
Yeah. Who are your nominations from week number 8 for the Rock-Solid Performance presented by the Gerken Companies?
I can kick her off here. I have 4 this week to talk about. Number 1 would be Patrick Henry, a nice bounce-back win from a tough Liberty Center loss the week before. Felt like they were maybe a little bit banged up, but answered well against the Delta team at Delta. I thought that was a rock-solid performance by the Patriots. Ottawa Glandorf, big win over Salina. I thought that was also a rock-solid performance for them. What about Bath? Shutting out Defiance, and I don't think anybody really saw that one coming. And then my last nominee would be the Clay Eagles, getting that share of the NLL Cardinal Division title for the first time in 42 years for the school.
I'm not too much different from you there, Neil. Bath, they put an exclamation mark on things against a red-hot Defiance team. Mm-hmm. That's hard to beat. Ottawa Glandorf, a program that's been trying to get over the hump. They were able to do it. They've already won it, but you got to mention Liberty Benton. Squaring off against a 5-2 Lipsick team in a key BVC game. They absolutely dropped the hammer on the Vikings. That's rock solid. The Clay Eagles, that's the first time I've seen them in person. I've heard you talk about Troy Hazuda and Byers and those guys. Wow. Even better than I expected. I knew they'd be really good offensively. I knew they would, but defensively is what I thought really stood out. Everybody, offense sells the tickets, but you better be able to play defense if you're going to win those championships, and they did. They were impressive. And then Patrick Henry. There's actually people that thought they might lose, and I don't think any of them were sitting here.
There were?
I think there were.
What were they thinking?
I'm telling you.
Must have not watched either team play all year.
Yeah. No, I just think they look at records, and Patrick Henry was so meticulous in their preparation for that game. They had no doubt. And the coaches, whether they admit it or not, they had no doubt. They've got a good group of kids there at Patrick Henry. That was rock solid against a 6-1 Delta team.
Absolutely. At their place.
At their place. So I agree with all those. I think, Bath and Clay. Maybe if I had to pick front runners, I'm going to leave it at that.
You give an edge to Clay since they have locked up a conference championship, would be my thought there. First time in 42 years that they've won a conference title. That has to mean something.
Yeah, I think it does. And I mean, you hear, it's in 1982, 42 years, so we kind of say it in passing, but put that in context.
John Gallius was a fresh-faced sophomore.
Yeah, 42 years.
And we're not talking about a school and community that's soft soft and things like that. There's a ton of tradition and toughness and pride at Clay, and so 42 years is even more remarkable. And then also, they had to run through their crossover games, okay? And that takes a toll on you in and of itself. And then an opponent that beat them in triple overtime last year, they come back and turn the tables to that degree.
And we're pretty dominant.
And largely unchanged rosters from both of those teams.
Very similar.
Frankly. For context, 82, isn't that a Ronald Reagan presidency in 82?
Speaking of Robbie Myers, he's making his appearance again.
Yeah, there's some context for you.
You're about to find out,
You're about
Robbie.
to find out, Robbie. Come on in.
I'm okay with any and all of those. They're all very worthy, but I'd say it's got to be Bath or Clay. And
I would agree with those two.
My vote would be Clay because they won the conference championship, first time in 42 years. They had a lot on their back this year. They embraced winning a championship this season, and they went out and did it.
Absolutely.
I think it maybe would have been different if they got lucky on Friday night to win that game, but there was no luck involved. That was pure dominance.
Yep, they were in control from the jump, and Lynn, you mentioned it. The Clay community is supportive of those kids, but at the same time, this is a group of kids that community has been watching for a long time and been anticipating. So a lot of expectations on a group of 14 to 17-year-old kids there that they've done nothing but deliver on. So I'll second the Clay Eagles.
Yeah. You like the Clay pick? You good with that, Tory Strock?
I love the Clay pick.
Congratulations, Clay Eagles. You're our Week 8 Gerken Companies Rock-Solid Performance. Robbie Myers and myself will get out there on Thursday and get those bracelets delivered to you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yep, you bet. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yep. I loved your interview with Mason Heinschel and Troy Hazuda, and Troy said that Mason got on him because he wasn't blocking. And you can hear it on Neil's Twitter page, or you can go to our archive on Saturday morning on our Rise and Rewind show. But that's some true leadership right there. Not that you didn't know that Mason was a good leader, but
and it was it's one of those things that being in the right place at the right time. I happened to be just a few yards, literally, from where that all went down, and watching the play, and listen, Troy clearly missed his block. I mean, there's no question about it. He whiffed on it. He'd tell you the same thing. And as soon as the play was whistled, now it wasn't like the guy blew it up for a 5-yard loss. I mean, I think the guy got 2 yards. Play probably could have gone 6-7 yards, right? And no sooner did that whistle go off, but Mr. Heinschel and maybe some not so delicate words let Troy know that he needed to maybe do his job a little bit differently and a little bit better, and Troy did nothing but nod and then owned it for the next play. And I tell you what, when you have that type of accountability and the type of culture that John Gallius has built into that program to let kids police it themselves and then respond appropriately, man, kudos to the Clay Eagles.
A lot of the great coaches will tell you want player-led teams, right?
Yep.
Not coach-led teams. And if you do it in collaboration, boy, you've got something special. Right. And it sounds like there's a lot of trust in that locker room. Yep. And that's a reflection of John Gallius, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, this is Mason Heinschel and the third-string receiver who's a sophomore that made a mistake.
It's one of the big boys.
Yeah. One of the big boys.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
How many arms have you seen like Mason Heinschel in your lifetimes in this area? Sorry, putting you on the spot here a little bit.
No, I mean, you think back to like Ben Roethlisberger. I saw him play at Findlay. I was in my coaching infancy there. I'd go watch him in the playoffs because Cliff Height and I were pretty good buddies. Roethlisberger, Montgomery,
staying at Findlay.
Yep. But in person,
Corey Greggs.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah.
Deshaun Kaiser.
At Central.
Yeah, Kaiser could spin it. Yeah, Greggs was just an all-around, just complete leader. For my money, in person, Heinschel, he just doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. I mean, the windows aren't always big, you know what I mean? And he's not throwing out cuts to a guy where a corner's 20 yards off that you and I can throw. He's fitting seam routes and skinny posts in between a corner and a safety, and he's thrown it to a spot. That's where you know those guys have such great chemistry, or what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe it's chemistry. Connection, because he throws it to a spot like you see big-time college quarterbacks and NFL quarterbacks do on Sundays. Because against good defenses, you can't wait till they're open, right? You've got to, and then you've got to trust that your receiver's going to be there, and as a receiver, you got to trust that your quarterback's going to deliver it. And
well, the guy throws absolute lasers. I mean, you better be ready for the ball.
How many passes do you think you could catch out of 10 from Mr. Heinschel?
How far away?
Schuller?
How far
10
away?
yards.
10 yards,
and
9
he just
easy.
lets them rip.
9 easy.
9? You'd catch 9?
9 easy.
What do you
Because
think of
if
that?
I missed them, they'd be embedded in my chest.
Well, I was going to say, so if you're
You think
using...
you can get 9 out of 10?
I know I could, but Schuller, I don't know.
Yeah,
and then if you tried to trap it with your body...
You'd only try that once because you'd have a couple broken ribs.
Well, your sternum would be crushed and your diaphragm would probably be touching your spinal column.
Probably bounce off your chest and go 5 yards back. And
one time, Lynn and I were laughing during the broadcast because he had Hudson Byers on just like a little flat route. They kind of ran a little flood, and Hudson Byers was only 8-9 yards away from him. And, I mean, he ripped it. And Byers actually juggled it for a half second and then pulled it in. And I think all three of us might have dropped that pass.
Yeah.
Well,
that had some heat on it.
That what was that movie, Little Giants or something, back in the day, where the guy threw the ball and is stuck in the kid's face mask? That's a Mason Heinschel type thing.
It also happened in the movie Necessary Roughness.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
With Kathy Ireland.
Yeah.
Ed Straight Arrow Gennaro was the coach, brought in to restore the integrity for the Texas State Armadillos after they were put on probation.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
You remember
It's a great
Married
movie.
with Children, Al Bundy?
Yeah. Polk
yeah.
High School.
Polk High was it Marcy's husband that was the quarterback, and they were throwing some around, and Al took one of the old Adam's apples.
Steve.
Remember that episode?
Yeah.
I don't think it was Steve. It was the other one.
Okay.
The later one.
Yeah, the guy that was in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
Stan
Yes,
Gable
yes,
in
yes.
Revenge
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Nerds.
yeah.
Another great football movie.
No doubt.
If you the Adams College, if you're not inspired by what John Goodman, remember he was the head coach in Revenge of the Nerds, what he did at Adams College with Stan Gable and Ogre, and I mean that was inspirational.
That's special.
And if coaches aren't showing that to their team in modern days, what are you doing? You know what I mean? There's a lot to be gained.
Good film session, post-film session, Saturday maybe.
What are you doing if you're not showing that?
I agree.
It's a great film.
Yeah, it is. We'll have to talk about the best football movie next week on this show.
Oh, I love it.
You got Varsity Blues in there. That'd have to be a contender.
I don't know if we want kids watching that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, remember the Titans, hard to beat. We Are Marshall, Rudy.
Yep.
Let's
We'd table that.
Yeah.
maybe it could be a little segment next week.
Next week will be on Wednesday, not Monday, just so everybody knows. Week number 10.
We might have some listeners getting a little antsy, Lynn.
Oh, sorry.
They're on very strict schedules because some of them have told me.
Sorry. Rise and Rewind, 8 a.m. this week. You will be joined by Timmy Bowers.
That's going to be an adventure.
Will you guys be off the air by 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Now, Timmy claims, because we talked to him Friday over at Clay, Tim Bowers claims that he's going to take control and shut me up.
Oh, he's going to host?
He's not going to host, but somehow he thinks he's going to be in control of what happens, and he's not.
I won't be here, so you guys can duke it out, however you want to figure that out.
Yeah. I don't sweat him. Even though he's older than me, I don't sweat Tim Bowers, and he knows it. So we'll get it figured out.
Was Timmy a tough dude back in his day?
Timmy was solid. Timmy was solid. I remember, he's quite a bit older than me. Actually, he's old, and but I remember Timmy well. His dad Terry took me and one of my buddies down to Ohio State Indiana game. I'm going to bring this up Saturday, but Ohio State was hosting Indiana. It would have been 1985, 84. Timmy was in college at Ohio State, and he lived in those towers.
Oh, yeah.
And we went up to his dorm room, I remember, before the game, and I think Timmy was out a little late on Friday night because we got him out of bed when we got there.
One of the rare occasions when he was out late.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't happen too often with Timmy Bowers, high-character guy.
Might have been at the library studying.
85.
Good
85.
chance.
That was a Rose Bowl year for the Buckeyes,
Was it?
I believe. Yeah, it might have been Carlos Snow era.
Might have been. Bill
Or
Mallory
maybe
was
Keith Byers.
Yeah, Bill Mallory was
Keith
the
Byers.
Indiana coach.
They had Vaughn Dunbar back in maybe 88.
Gosh,
maybe a
Vaughn
little
Dunbar,
bit later.
yeah.
He was a stud.
Yep.
You know where Carlos Snow went to school?
Cape.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education.
I knew
Strong academic institution.
Yeah.
And, oh, man.
Well, it's
Now defunct, I believe.
Now defunct.
been defunct
Yes.
for a while. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been gone longer than it was around. at
You know,
this
it's
point in
it's
time.
fun. You go down these rabbit holes. I did this with Ironton a couple
Rabbit
weeks
holes.
ago. Get on the rabbit hole looking at defunct schools like Cape and their school history, and it's pretty awesome, man.
Cape had some dudes back in the day.
Yeah, they
Yeah, they
did.
did.
Yeah, they did.
Remember Carlos Snow's calves?
Enormous.
That's what I remember about him.
Yeah, back on
He
that
was a
old
tank.
that old AstroTurf that was like the green carpet you have on a
Yep.
boat deck or
Yeah.
something.
Just
It's
like
like
it-
Rolling out carpet on top of this
yeah,
cement
correct.
right
I
here.
tell you what, he got the boogieing
what
on
it
that
was.
stuff though.
Yeah,
That's what it was, yeah.
feel like a Saturday morning right now. We're getting way off
I
script.
know
Yeah,
we are.
we are. We're only 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah, but
We got the Columbus Grove guys coming tonight, so we got to
We did
be a
that.
little bit mindful of
Yeah.
our times.
We did name. Yeah, we named that. Okay.
got a rock solid done.
We gotta do
But
our
there's
game.
listeners that can relate to some of the
Yeah,
things
they
we're
can.
saying.
Oh, yeah,
some of
they
those
can.
movies and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. That's value-added content.
It is.
Game 1 awards from week 9.
Yes, game 1
week 8, I
players
should
of the
say.
week. Yes, I'm going to start on the offensive side of the ball. Start with my honorable mention candidate. That would be the aforementioned Troy Hazuda, 192 yards receiving and a touchdown 87-yarder to break it open. It was a beautiful, hit him right in stride, and it was off to the races from there. No big surprise here. Our game 1 offensive player of the week, Mason Heinschel, 85% of his passes completed for 333 yards and 2 touchdowns, 35 yards rushing and a touchdown. Pretty darn complete game, 4 misses in passing. So Mason Heinschel, congratulations. Game 1 offensive player of the week. Defensively, honorable mention. And I don't really like to do this, but I'm just going to mention, honorable mention-wise, Clay's defense, just as a unit, by far their best game of the season. I'm going to call out Colin Greenewalt, junior linebacker for Clay. He was a part of 13 tackles, 1 for loss. He seemed to be popping up quite a bit, number 8 there. You mentioned Leon Carey, the big nose tackle. He was making a mess out of things. But our defensive player of the week, game 1 player of the week, is going to go to Trey Rubenstein of Napoleon. I felt that in terms of defensive individuals on the field Friday night, Trey had an impact even in a loss, and that could have got way more out of hand without a Trey Rubenstein. So Trey Rubenstein, congratulations, and great effort. Our defensive player of the week presented by game 1.
Yeah, they did a lot of different things with Trey in that game. Those are great picks there, Neil. Trey, there were times, you have the defensive line and linebackers, and then you have the secondary. There were a lot of times Trey was lined up behind the linebackers, but in front of the secondary, almost with his radar on Mason Heinschel. And then I thought the Napoleon coaches did a great job scheming. They would sneak Trey up on the edge, and they would pick and choose their spots, but they'd blitz him. Otherwise,
Effective.
Very effective. And as you said, they could have scored more than 35. You take Trey Rubenstein out of the mix, man.
Yeah.
So can't argue with that.
Yep.
Just Mason Heichel's getting so many awards this week. Just give me his shirt.
I can do that. Yeah. I can make sure that happens. I might want to.
Sorry, Mason, you're just getting a bracelet this week. you're getting too many awards.
He's such a nice kid, though.
He'd probably give it to me.
Probably would.
He probably would give it
He'd
to
be
me.
like, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Probably really was.
Mason, I'm just joking. You can have your shirt.
He earned it.
Yeah, he earned it. Yeah,
he did.
Absolutely did. Standings after last week. Neil
boy.
Schuller had one of his best weeks of the year, 30-3. Braden Martin, 30-4. Tory, 29-4, and I was 28-5. Thank you to Southview for losing me another
Man,
game.
first place.
I'm sour about that.
Is this how you guys feel every week?
Wow. Feels good. You said best, one of Neil's best weeks of the year, of his career.
Yeah, zero doubt.
Let's be honest.
That's true. Good
So
point.
I tip my hat.
I was trying to be nice.
I'm
You don't
feeling
have
good
to-
about it.
Don't have to make fun of the guy for his career record.
Hey,
I tip my hat.
I'm feeling good about it.
It doesn't happen. I was going to quote a movie. I'm not gonna. But it's a funny.
You can go ahead.
You know, Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end, when Tommy has the fake explosives.
Yeah.
And he goes into that shareholders meeting.
Yeah.
Right. And is it Dan Aykroyd? And he basically tells Tommy, "Enjoy it. You got one over on me.
Right.
And it ain't gonna happen again." That's kind of how
Were you
I feel.
coaching football or were you watching movies in your life?
I did
Jeez,
it all.
Oh, Pete's.
Well, you had to have some of the movie
How'd
background.
you watch so many movies?
Well, I didn't watch them when I was
this is
coaching.
like some of these assignments, right? Like, hey, read chapters 1 through 2, and he's back here live streaming.
I watched those things all before my coaching career took off.
Yeah.
I had a whole library in my mind. So enjoy it, Neil.
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
He's still got some ground to make up overall, though.
Well, yeah,
No doubt.
Yeah, but let's not even.
Hey.
That doesn't matter right now.
One step at a time.
So
boys.
you said Southview, which they got you, okay? But another one. Remember, I gave you about 6 opportunities to go back.
I remember.
And take Riverdale. And you didn't. And I'm glad you didn't.
Go to the archives. You can hear it. Go to the archives. It's in there.
Yeah, that was one you could have got.
That's one I
That was Elmwood, right? Elmwood Riverdale.
Yeah.
I mean, up to including right before we signed off.
I did. One last opportunity. So Neil, well done.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well
Tory,
done.
Tory
Thank you.
now 230-41. I am 227-44. 3 games back. Braden 230-50. 4.5 back. Braden's still got a chance here the last 2 weeks. Neil Schuller 221-51. 9.5 back.
Make it right.
baby steps.
You know, if it wasn't for week 1, I'd be right in the hunt.
I know.
You would be. That puts you back there about 10 games.
I did. I've been grinding them out ever since.
So there's going to be some games that could separate us this week. There's always some you look at and you're like, that's easy, that's easy, that's easy. And then there's always about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, there's about 5 this week
I
that
believe
the first pass of highlighting winners left unmarked.
Yeah.
Had to do a little bit more noodling, if you will.
Okay, well, let's get into it. We're going to start with the TAC. Eden and Ottawa Hills on collision course for next week, along as Ottawa Hills beats Montpelier this week. Speaking of the Green Bears, 6th in Region 22 at Montpelier. Locos with a win, pulling upset here. 21st in Region 26 in Division 7. But are they going to have the capability to go to Williams County and get this one?
Well, this was not one of those games that I had to think very much about. The Green Bears are rolling, Montpelier struggling, and the struggle is going to continue this week against a really good Ottawa Hills team that has their sights squarely set on Week 10. Stay healthy, get in and out business trip, but it's all Green Bears.
I agree with everything you said, Neil. Got to be careful if you're Ottawa Hills. Early in the season against what we've learned is a really solid Gibsonburg team. Mm-hmm. They weren't at their best, had plenty of miscues, things like that. You make the long road trip to Williams County. You're not locked in. You get off to a slow start, give Montpelier some confidence, and your job's going to be a lot tougher in the second half. But I'm with you, Neil. I don't see that happening. Ottawa Hills, I think, is clicking right now. They've got too many pieces, and they're on that collision course with Eden. Give me Ottawa Hills.
Okay. Also in the TAC this week, Northwood, 19th in their region, and Hilltop also 19th in their region, Region 26 for the Cadets. Rangers are in Division 5, Region 18, so both need a victory to kind of stay in that playoff hunt.
Yep, I'm on Northwood here, even though they're on the road. Too much of a gap between these two programs right now. It's not a huge gap, but too much for Hilltop to overcome. Give me Ken James and the Rangers.
Yep, Northwood with a nice win over Montpelier last week, also on the road, so road trip-wise, they're pretty accustomed, not too far between Montpelier and Hilltop, but give me the Rangers in this one as well.
Yep, give me Northwood as well.
Did you take Ottawa Hills?
Ottawa Hills.
Okay, I don't think you said it.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yep, I'll take Northwood and Ottawa Hills, like you two guys.
Guy just always gives you chances to get back in or change your mind, you know?
I know he does. 8-man football this week in the Northern 8, the big one in the regular season. Holgate at Toledo Christian, this game being played at Bowser High School. TC won 20-14 in the regular season, and then a game in the state championship right here at Liberty Center. They won 49-6 over the Tigers. Holgate did win the 2022 championship game at BG 34-27. TC had some injuries in that one. Holgate's nursing some injuries in this one. Tory, Strock, and I are going to have the coverage of this one on our Gamecast this week, presented by 3-Court. Going to do an 8-man game here this week at Bowser. Neil Schuller, who do you like?
Well, I will tell you, this has gotten to be a matchup that's keenly watched in the Northern 8 every single year, and it's one that both communities come out in spades to support. This one will be no exception. The Holgate faithful have no trouble traveling up to Bowser High School for this matchup, and if you're Toledo Christian, this is right down the road. They may have people walking over. You just never know. I just feel like Toledo Christian has got so many weapons and can sting you so early. I don't know. I know that their starters have not played in the second half this year. I don't know if there's been many times that they have played in the second quarter of a game this year. That's how special this team is. Holgate, obviously, impressive record. They're rolling. Coach Colton Wagner will have those guys ready to go. Not that they need it when this one's on the schedule. I mean, this has turned into as big of a rivalry as there is. That said, Toledo Christian, I have a feeling, is going to roll in this game. Give me the Eagles in this one.
Okay. Man, the Eagles have played some really good defense. I know their offense is really good, but 1,339 yards passing this season. So far for the Eagles, they ran for 909. I'm going to give you some quick defensive stats here as well, because the defensive side, they've
scored multiple times on defense.
Yeah, they have. Let me get you their defensive stats here. They have given up
not much
here. I don't know if I have any of their team stats, I guess.
Well, you got to watch out for guys like Jason O'Neill and Dalton Cavassos there in the middle, and Locke Miller, and then you got Carter Kester in the secondary. I mean, it's layer after layer of problems for teams. There's no question about it.
As Lynn's digging there, I'll say I've seen Holgate a couple times in person. Have not seen Toledo Christian except for highlights online and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it, and I told Lynn Saturday on Rise and Rewind, this coming Saturday on Rise and Rewind, I'm going to talk about some teams that I think, after watching Toledo Christian, how many games would they win in certain leagues? I won't mention specific teams they beat, but how many games they might win in some of the area leagues. I'm curious to see that, because based on what I've heard, they could compete.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
Jason O'Neill, 19 tackles for loss. Dalton Cavassos, 9 tackles for loss. Mr. Ryan, 13 tackles for loss. Oh, defense is amazing.
19 tackles for loss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. He is, Jason O'Neill is a difference maker at the edge.
Yeah, he is
tall, long.
He's really
quick and twitchy.
Really good.
He'll get after it. He's got a little bit of a mean streak. Nicest kid when you talk to him, but when he puts the pads on, wow, he lights it up.
5 interceptions.
Dalton Cavassos had that. About a 94-yard pick six.
Yeah,
big fella there.
Yep. Yeah. Toledo Christian's got some dudes. Holgate does too. Hopefully they can get some guys healthy going into that one on Friday night. We also have another game on Saturday in the Northern 8. Danbury at Stryker. Danbury already won this game earlier in the season. That was a non-league game. This one will count in the league standings.
Yeah, Danbury doing a nice job this year, kind of rebounding a bit. They're making their case here in the Northern 8. Stryker just seems like they're continuing to struggle. I like Danbury on the road.
Yeah, I looked at this one for a little bit. Stryker at home, in front of the hometown crowd, maybe has a little extra juice, but I don't think they can overcome
52-26 earlier this year in this game.
Yeah, a lot would have to change and go right for Stryker to make up that difference. So give me the Lakers.
Yep, I'll take the Lakers as well. We're going to come back and talk about the Catholic High School League, the action there coming up this week. Ready to hit the links? Grab your clubs and head to White Pines Golf Course at 1640 County Road 2 in Swanton. For a tee time or to sign up for their events, call 419-875-5535 or visit whitepinesgc.com. Also, sign up for their early membership of $885 or $796.50 for seniors 55 and older. Early membership is play now, and greens fees are covered for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025. When you play White Pines Golf Course, the experience will exceed your expectations. Tune in Saturday morning, Rise and Rewind presented by White Pines Golf Course, 8 o'clock start this Saturday morning. Neil Schuller, you ever get the wife out? You get Andrea out there playing golf ever?
No, that is not ever happened. Matter of fact, Rise and Rewind, we're listening on our way down to Dayton on Saturday to go see the Dayton Flyers. Big win for them, by the way. We're at Davidson. Nice win. But, she got quite a chuckle out of listening to your story with Cinda. And she says, that's the same thing that would happen if I went out with you. And I say, yeah, you're probably right. So, yeah, she's never been.
You wouldn't be that kind to her,
She's a putt-putt golfer. Yeah, I would show grace and, try to help. But, she's left-handed, but she does some things right-handed. So I feel like, she'd, try it one way for a while, maybe switch, and I don't even know how all that would work. She likes her putt-putt golf.
Okay.
She's pretty prolific at the putt-putt.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be patient, and I wasn't built that way. I have no patience. And the older I get, I'm less patient than ever. So it's just a bad combination, and Cindy and I are both better off if we don't do those things together.
I have a feeling I feel like you and I, Tory, could go play 18, and Andrea and Cinda could play 9, and we'd finish at the same time. Or thereabout.
Yeah, or we might finish before them. Because if you'd have seen my experience with Cinda, guys, I'm not kidding.
We might have to have Cinda on here to get the other side of the story.
I mean, she was on about 8 or 9 strokes, and we weren't 85 yards off the tee, and I had it. Of course, you know how I play. I go fairways to greens.
Right. Yeah. When you're just down the middle of the fairway every time. Every time I hear that White Pines, advertisement that we just had.
My tee shot.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, or maybe your fairway wood.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last time I didn't hit a golf shot square. I
remember one time the Columbus Grove outing, the first hole.
That might have been the one time.
Yeah, I remember that.
He really stroked that one.
Might have been the one time. Well, I got these guys back here yapping, and I'm trying to concentrate, and their etiquette's all whacked, and but
I'll tell you what, we turned a corner on that outing, though.
Yeah.
We did all right.
Had a lot of weight on our shoulders.
We did.
Who was our fourth? Your brother?
Ned.
Ned Steckshoulder.
Oh, gosh, yeah, Ned played with us. That's right. His son and his friends were in the group behind us. That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was a
really good time.
It's good.
Catholic High School League this week. Varsity Central, Warren De La Salle is at St. John's. Their playoff hopes have already been dashed. They're mathematically eliminated. St. Francis is hosting Central Catholic. We'll get to that one in our non-conference roundup here later in the show. Can St. John's get on the board?
They're going to score in this game, but they're not going to win this game. De La Salle, 2 losses this year for the Pilots. The first was to Central Catholic, 41-6. The second was to Detroit Catholic Central, 31-14. Otherwise, they have won out. So, including Orchard Lake St. Mary, who took Central Catholic to the wire last week. Warren De La Salle beat them back in week number 3. I feel like they're going to be too much for a St. John's team that just continues to struggle, trying to find their footing. Give me the Warren De La Salle Pilots in this one.
Yeah, Warren De La Salle for sure. Neil, in 30 seconds or less, what are the most pressing issues at St. John's? Without being critical, what people that don't know, you hear St. John's Jesuit and you think tradition, and which they are tradition rich, tons of pride, resources. What's holding them back right now? Is it personnel? Is it the schedule? Is it a combination of things?
I think you lose one on the road week 1 to Wapak, which in hindsight, a quality win there. They lost that one 35-21, and that's probably one of the closest games that Wapak's had all year. Anthony Wayne, fairly big rivalry there. You get shut out. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're struggling, and then it starts to build, and it starts to build.
That Rouge loss was a tough one too.
The Rouge loss was a tough one. That was a 6-12 loss in overtime. A team they beat the year prior. That again. Now you're week 4. Now you're okay. You're 1-3, but at least you feel like you stopped the bleeding, get your feet under you. I feel like with St. John's, this is really a case where the proverbial snowball. Once it gets going, it gets awfully hard to stop. And again, we've talked about this a lot on air. You're dealing with 14 to 17-year-old kids that got a lot of emotion. Just trying to get them focused. And listen, the schedule, it is what it is. I mean, week in and week out in this Detroit Catholic League, you have to show up. You have got a formidable opponent on the other side of that. And, they unfortunately kind of hit the meat of the schedule right at the end here where you're playing Central Catholic, Detroit Catholic Central, Warren De La Salle. That's we talk about that crossover gauntlet in the NLL. That's every bit the equivalent here in terms of opponents. Not to mention, don't forget about week 5. That's a lot of emotion in that St. Francis, St. John's rivalry game. The first one that you've dropped in 10 years. And now that's on your shoulders as well as a class. So I think the kids probably not having a whole lot of belief right now. I think at season end here, we just got to refocus and get locked in on next year and look at what went wrong and then address it in a different manner.
Well said. Just curious.
Detroit Catholic Central won the varsity Central Division. They're 5-0. Lumen Christi won the AA Division, which is what St. Francis is in. Do we know what is going on week 10 now that Central Catholic is not going to be playing in the Prep Bowl this year?
They have a game. They're playing Muskegon Mona Shores,
okay,
which is a pretty big powerhouse up in Michigan. They are undefeated right now, 7-0 over on that west side of the state. So that is no pushover game at all for the Central Catholic Fighting Irish. So that's their Week 10 opponent, and that is at Muskegon Mona Shores. So that will be something to watch. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, no Prep Bowl this year for the Fighting Irish, which I know will be disappointing, but playoffs ahead.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. We're going to take another break, come back and talk about the Western Buckeye League slate this week. The Swanton Welding Company proudly supports our local student athletes and coaches. We're committed to being your local steel fabrication company in Northwest Ohio and building projects across the country. For job opportunities at the Swanton Welding Company, visit www.swantonweld.com or visit them at 407 Zider Way in Swanton. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gerken Companies Western Buckeye League. Walpock has the title wrapped up, at least a share. They can win it outright by beating Bath this week. Can the Redskins? Speaking of Walpock and Bath, Bath is 5th in their region, Region 20 in Division 5. They go south compared to the Region 18 teams up here in our area. Walpock is 4th in Region 12 in Division 3. Any trouble here for the Redskins against the Wildcats at home?
I don't think so. Wapak has done nothing but win all year. They're rolling at 8-0, and it just seems like they're getting tougher as the season goes on. They're getting more battle hardened as they go. Bath, obviously a nice win last week against Defiance, shutting them out. I think that's one that got everybody's attention. It got Wapak's attention as well, and those kids will be prepared and ready to go. Give me the Redskins this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. Got Wapak's attention for sure, but this is dangerous. It feels like sometimes weekly, but every year in the WBL, there's an upset. Was Bath over Defiance an upset?
Maybe a small one.
Not crazy, yeah.
Just the way that Defiance was rolling.
Correct. I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree. Bath, this is dangerous for Walpock. This is a dangerous game. Can Bath replicate the ingredients that went into that win last week? If they can, they're going to have a chance, but can't pick against Walpock. You said it, Neil. They got woken up by that Bath win over Defiance.
Yeah, but to your point too, Tory, don't lose sight of the fact of what a surge to those Bath kids that win over Defiance was. Right now they're looking. Yep. They got a lot of confidence. They're going to be rolled in, with full confidence that they can take care of the job. So
and they should.
This will be a good one.
They should.
Walpock, big. Won't have any trouble this week.
Okay.
42-7 big? Or
no,
not?
I think it'll be like, 35-10.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. 20-plus point victory.
Okay.
For Walpock.
I can't argue, but
their body of work would suggest that that's definitely in the cards.
Don't know which Bath team's going to show up. I trust Walpock.
Yeah.
Salina, 12th in Region 12. Defiance is 6th in Region 10. Bulldogs didn't fall too far there after that loss a week ago to Bath. It's an important one for both teams.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And this is one where, you got two teams that are coming off of losses that they may not have been expecting to get. Mm-hmm. And now soul searching and feeling like, hey, that the clock is running out on our chance to make a statement here in the WBL. So this is a must-win game for both programs, no question about it. I like Defiance to rebound. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they are at home. I think Coop will have those guys locked in and ready to go and make sure that they don't make the same mistake twice. But this is good. This is one of those games this week where we talked about that went unmarked for me and required a little bit more thought process and research.
My sources tell me that Saturday's film session was no film. At Defiance.
I believe it.
And we'll see where... We'll see if some folks have the same starting spot they had a week ago. Interesting. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, I think another school that had a similar approach a week or two ago was Perrysburg after their Whitmer game. A little bit of a wake-up call there maybe for the Yellow Jackets from Coach Connor and company.
Yep.
I'll tell you, this Salina Defiance game, dare I say coin flip. I'm going with Defiance at home, Neil. You mentioned, I think that's kind of what tips it for me. I just look for them to bounce back and play with an absolute chip on their shoulder. But Salina's got something to prove too.
Yeah, this one's going to be a four-quarter ball game. It's probably a score type. Would not surprise me to see this go in overtime at all.
Agreed. I'm going with the Defiance Bulldogs.
Yeah. But I'm going to take Defiance too.
Are you?
Yeah. Did you do somebody wanted me to ask you if you did a report on Mercer County.
Well,
I had a request this week.
I did. Salina, 7th grade Ohio history, Mr. Doughton.
I remember this.
Mr. Thomas Doughton. And we had picked one of the 88 counties. I took Mercer County, and the county seat is Salina. Did a bang-up job on that report. Probably still have it down the street there on West Maple at Mom and Dad's house in the basement. Probably an award-winning paper looking back at it now. And what if I can find that and dust it off and read it on the air?
I was just getting ready to say, if you could produce that document.
There are a lot of people out there that want to see this report.
Yeah, I quite honestly, I think.
I had a request. I had a request this morning. I woke up, I had a message.
Was this a single-page report? Well, 7th grade probably.
Well, I don't think it was. I think it, because I had a plastic, it was in a plastic cover with a...
Like a trapper keeper?
No.
I know what you mean. You have that little plastic thing that slides on.
Binds it. Yeah,
there you go. Okay.
It was in there. I had it looking neat. And, yeah, I'll never forget that. Mercer County, and that could come into play in this game.
So, so out of 88 counties to choose from, what drew you to Mercer County?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Interesting.
I have no idea, but I've always known the county seat, Salina Bulldogs. You imagine if I'm the coach at Salina, if I could get my hands on that report, maybe read it to your kids, think of the pride that might instill in their school and community.
Inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That could be a difference now. If that report gets in Salina's hands before this game,
Defiance is in
Could
trouble.
tip the tide.
listen, I might have to change.
Defiance is in trouble. Travis Cooper's going to try to keep that from happening.
Could you run that down to Coach Bader for us?
I think I could.
I may switch my pick if you
Cooper
do.
will have a bounty on your head.
I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Knowing my mom, if she listens to this, she'll be in the basement digging for it.
Probably already is.
Seriously.
It's not in like the Mercer County
Historical Society.
Yeah.
It should be.
Your mom probably called Tracy to come help her look too.
Yeah, she probably did. Tracy would too.
Yeah. This is gonna be great. Maybe we can put that up, like frame it and put it up here somewhere.
We'll see if I can find that.
Yeah.
Ottawa Glandorf, 9th in Region 14. They are at Shawnee, who is 17th in Region 10. Titans have bounced back this season nicely. They go on the road and keep Shawnee scuffling.
You'd think, but yeah, I think OG's got it buttoned up enough now. They're not going to falter. Although this is one Shawnee feels like they have a chance in. I can guarantee you that. But Ken Schreiner ain't going to let it happen. Titans.
OG is my pick too.
Same for me. Ottawa Glandorf in this one.
Okay. St. Mary's, 8th in Region 12. At Elida, 16th. Hold on to that final spot in Region 14. Big game for the Elida Bulldogs at home this week.
Could change everything for them as far as their postseason outlook is concerned. But St. Mary's has her cranking. Scored more points last week than I thought they would all year, to be honest with you.
8 rushing touchdowns.
Rolling.
Yeah. So give me St. Mary's. I have no reason to believe they're going to let up. But Elida ain't going to make it easy. They're going to load up the box and try to force them to be uncomfortable, get them behind the chains.
Yep. St. Mary's has won the last 4 in a row. You mentioned that 64-28 beating of Kenton last week. They make it 5 in a row on the road at Elida. Give me the Rough Riders this week.
I like the Rough Riders as well on that one. Van Wert, 17th in Region 14 at Kenton, 24th in Region 14. So the Kenton Wildcats really got to get cooking here the last couple weeks. At 1-7 right now, they're going to have to win their last 2 to have any hopes of getting into the postseason. Will this one go either way?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it could.
This is another one of those games I talked about before the show.
How many points will be scored?
Excess of 50.
Two of the defenses
70.
that have been
I would
very frugal with the points and yards they've given up this season.
I would set the over-under at 70.
Oh, I'll take the over.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing like a 35-28, 35-34.
I'm seeing like 45-42.
Okay. This is a tough pick.
Give me a track.
This is a tough pick, especially at Kenton. If this game were at Van Wert, I might feel differently. I'm going to go with Van Wert just because they've been more consistent throughout the year, but Kenton is waiting to bust bust out. I haven't seen enough consistency out of the Kenton Wildcats. Give me Van Wert.
Or are they going to slow down Briston Weiss? I mean, they gave up a ton of rushing yards a week ago to St. Mary's, and Mr. Weiss has been pretty good this season.
Yeah, give me the Cougs.
Yep, same for me. I'm taking Van Wert. They've won the last two. Gutted out that overtime win 2 weeks ago at Ottawa Glandorf. Kids got confidence now. They're feeling good. They won 2 in a row. Kenton on a skid. I'm going to take Van Wert because of it.
I am too. I'm going to take the Cougars in that matchup. Keith Brecker and crew going to get the job done. We're going to take a break, come back, and talk about the NBC this week. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store off Route 24 on State Route 109, just south of Liberty Center, now has 88 unleaded fuel and is your one-stop shop for fuel, food, drinks, and much, much more, including locally raised meats and home-baked goods. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store is proud to support Black Swamp Football and is the host of the Black Swamp Football podcast, football show, and Saturday mornings Rise and Rewind. Stop in and see Glenn and Greg today and make American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store a part of your everyday routine. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gerken Companies, NBC. The big game this week is Eastwood at Oak Harbor. The winner wraps up at least a share of the NBC title. And then the winner, if they could win again in Week 10, would wrap it up outright. That's probably the marquee game around the area this week. First going to begin the NBC schedule this week with Lake, 17th in Region 18, at Otsego, 11th in Division 4's Region 14.
Lake was one of those games for me last week that when I was going through scores was really surprised. No disrespect to Fostoria, but lost that game to Fostoria last week. Eastwood and Otsego, I give credit to Otsego. They made a game out of that, 20-35. Played Eastwood as tough as anybody has really since either Rossford back there, which is still a little bit of a mystery, or Genoa. So played them tough. They've lost the last 3, but they're not going to make it 4. Craig Rutherford and crew get it done at the Castle. Give me Otsego.
Yeah, Lake, I can't figure those boys out. Been a little too inconsistent for me. Got burnt picking them a couple times. Ain't going to happen again. Otsego, just a little too much grit. It may not be pretty, but Otsego gets it done.
Yep, I'm going to take the Knights as well in that matchup. Eastwood, 4th in Region 18. At Oak Harbor, 3rd in Region 18. This is an interesting region because if you're the top seed, you're probably going to maybe avoid playing 2 big boys in the region. If you're 2nd, 3rd, probably going to end up playing each other. Well, you would, depending on how it shakes out here. Milan Edison, if you look at Drew Pastor's fantastic 50 seeding probabilities, they have an 89% chance at the number 1 seed, 8% at number 2, 3% at number 3, and 1% at number 4, 1% at number 5. Liberty Center, their odds are the 2nd seed at 85%. Oak Harbor, who Drew Pastors is picking to win this game this week, they are expected to be the 3rd seed. They have a 78% chance of that. Norwayne, they are 70% as the 4 seed. And then Eastwood, 5th, 6th, 33 and 34%. This is an interesting region, kind of how it falls for these teams, because you may have to play 2 big boys, or depending, you may only have to play 1.
Well, that Edison win over Sandusky Perkins really set the tone in this region and gave them a stranglehold on things. Oak Harbor Eastwood, oh my gosh, a points bonanza in that game, for crying out loud, whoever can win that one. And Liberty Benton there sitting at 5 after that lone setback to Columbus Grove. They've been impressive.
Well, they're expecting Liberty Benton to be the 7 seed, 44%, 35% at the 6 seed. Now these are all just scenarios and numbers, but
it's tough in the BVC. There just aren't as many points available, in the BVC with some of the schools in that league. So Cal Preps, which we like to look at for fun sometimes, says Oak Harbor 28, Eastwood 20. So when you think about that game, game? Could the score be in that ballpark? Will it be that close?
No.
Okay.
Oak Harbor by 20 plus.
20 plus.
Yep.
Okay.
Picking the Rockets by 20 plus.
Okay.
35-21 winner a year ago in this game.
35-21 a year ago.
I'm taking the Rockets, and I think they win it by 3 scores.
Think it'll be a bigger gap than 35-21?
Yep.
Do you? We saw Oak Harbor, Neil.
Yeah.
They're a handful, buddy.
I know. Listen to you guys talking about that. Eastwood, obviously impressive at 8-0. I, too, am going to take Oak Harbor. I don't think it's going to be that big of a margin, though. I think that this is a tighter game than that. So this could be come down to a score, quite honestly.
I too am going with Oak Harbor. I will have trouble picking against Oak Harbor from here on out until through the regional final. I will have trouble picking against them. I'm not saying I won't, but it'll take some convincing me based on what I've seen. And I've seen several teams in that region already, and Oak Harbor was super impressive. But
Eastwood beat Maumee 28-15. Oak Harbor beat them 56-17. As Ned Steck-Schulte and the Columbus Grove crew rolling in here with, all kinds of
their hands full.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas.
Did they bring a semi down here?
Need a dolly.
Maybe a U-Haul, little trailer they rented, Ned rented.
Boy.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I like the Rockets.
Can I fit in one of those jerseys, Ned, do you think?
Maybe one of those bigger number ones.
I want that military one.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Got some war marks on it.
Yeah, got some dents in it. Cracks. Boy, oh boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we will have the Columbus Grove crew here tonight for our KK Collision football show. 100 years of football at that Putnam County program. You can go to our YouTube channel to tune into that here later on this week.
So we're clean sweep,
Clean
Oak Harbor?
sweep. Yep. Oak Harbor. Yeah.
Any scenario where Eastwood can win that one, Lynn? Or are they going to need a couple turnovers? And I mean, Reidner and Lalonde are ridiculous in that backfield.
Oh, and that's the thing. Listen to what you guys said, and watching this Oak Harbor team. They're a team that seems like they can score almost at will.
I know.
I don't like to compare scores, but if you go through the scores, Oak Harbor 31-0 over Otsego. Eastwood, Otsego gave them a game. It was 35-20.
Yeah,
you look at those common opponents.
Common opponents, man.
Oak Harbor
has
the edge.
And they've rolled over everybody. I'd be surprised if Eastwood got this one. I'd be surprised. But I'm not going to count out Sam Cotterman.
No, he'll have them ready.
He'll have them ready, but I just don't think they have enough.
Okay.
I don't think they have enough.
I'll be curious as we're doing.
They put 56 on Maumee. I mean, they went up and down the field.
I know. And they didn't slow them down either, did they?
And Eastwood struggled a little bit with Maumee.
Yeah. I'll be looking forward to updates as we're doing that game Friday night.
I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of Maumee, 5th in Region 10. How about that? The Panthers on the verge of having 2 playoff games at home. They are at Fostoria. Not going to get a lot of points in that one there, but be interesting to see where Maumee falls in the playoff picture as we go forward.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Maumee Panthers, one of the turnaround stories of the last couple of years, and just, you look, making that move to the NBC, how's that going to work out? What's that going to be? Got a new coach that's coming in. Man, the folks at Maumee are excited. Football is back in a big way in that community. Fostoria, obviously feeling good about that lake win last week. They're not going to be feeling that good after Friday night this week with Maumee Panthers coming to town. Give me Maumee all night.
Yeah, Maumee's, 2 losses to those 2 teams that we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
And so Maumee's the real deal. You have Oak Harbor and Eastwood, and then it's not a huge drop-off. You have Maumee right there.
Well, and Otsego coming hard.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Week 10 for Maumee, a game they lost last year. So looking to avenge that one Week 10. That'll be interesting.
It will. Give me Maumee as well.
I'm going to take Maumee. According to Drew Pastor's Fantastic 50, they have them as the 5th seed a 39% chance, and the 6th seed a 43% chance. So I'm not going to get 2 home games, but it's like they may get 1 the way it's going to shake out.
Place to be rocking.
Oh, boy, you're not kidding.
Stadium. Yep.
You're not kidding. They've been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah. Take another break, come back and talk about the Blanchard Valley Conference this week.
Hey guys, help yourself.
Hard-working individuals have been the heart of the Gerken Companies for generations. Together we construct the highways and infrastructure that strengthen our communities. Gerken is seeking rock-solid performers. We offer generous benefits, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. Want to be part of something big, steady, and stable with room to grow? Whether you're experienced or just starting your career, we encourage you to apply at gerkencompanies.com/careers.
Thank you again to the Gerken Companies, title sponsor of our podcast this season. Welcome back here to our Week 9 podcast. Going to talk about the Blanchard Valley Conference here next. LB can wrap up at least a share this week. Ada and Pandora Gilboa still chasing them both at 5-1. Ada 5th in Region 26. They're at Pandora Gilboa, who was 11th in Region 26 this week.
Another one of those matchups I think is a coin toss type of a game. Ada has, 7-1. Their only loss to Arlington back in Week 3. Have been charging ever since. Pandora Gilboa lost to Liberty Benton, early on the season to Grove and Bluffton, but since then have put together a pretty good body of work. I like the Rockets in this one. I think it's going to be a close game, but give me the Rockets at home.
On paper, maybe the closest matchup of the week.
Yep.
Of all of our picks. Pandora's at home. I'm going to give them the edge, but Cal Prep says 28-27 in this matchup. I mean, that's razor thin, and it'll probably be something close to that, to be honest with you. There'll be some lead changes in that game, but I like Pandora Gilboa.
You don't want to take Ada? You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the Rockets too. I thought I could maybe talk you into Ada there.
I kicked it around a little bit, but I can't.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Liberty Benton 5th in Region 18, as you just mentioned a little bit ago. They are hosting Arcadia this week. Shouldn't be any trouble for the Eagles in that matchup.
Chance for you to get a game if you want to pick the upset.
I'm not doing it on this one.
All right. I like the Liberty Benton Eagles. They will name their score at home on the Redskins.
Yep, no analysis needed in this one. It's going to be all LB.
Okay, I'm going to take LB as well. Lipsick is at Arlington. The Vikings 13th in Division 7, Region 26, going into the second last Friday of the season.
Another razor-thin margin here, boys. Lipsick, a little bit inconsistent. This one's at Arlington. Boy, it's tough for me to pick against Arlington at home against this year's Lipsick team, but I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to go with Lipsick on the road. I just think they'll find a way to win. It'll be close. This game will be close, but I'm going with Lipsick.
Yeah, I too like Lipsick. I think, both teams have some inconsistency issues here, but Lipsick, I think, is put together a little bit better body of work for me. So give me Coach Kirkendall and company.
I'll take that pick as well. I'll take the Vikes. Also in the BBC this week, Elmwood still looking for their first win. They're at Van Buren. Can the Royals get it this week?
Well, Schuller, Van Buren burnt you when you took him against Lipsick.
That's right, he did.
You can take him. You can take them and feel much better tonight.
Yeah,
because they're going to win that game.
You're going back to Week 2 there. A little scorned by that pick still, but
we tried to change your mind.
True. Just like Tory last week with you, and it didn't work. And but give me the Black Knights this week. And Black Knights, don't let me down again. Doggone it, I might never pick you again.
No, they won't let you down. Van Buren wins this game at home and wins it rather convincingly.
I agree.
28-7.
I agree. Take the Black Knights as well. Northwest Conference this week. Columbus Grove with conference newcomer LCC coming to Clymer Stadium. Bluffton and Grove both on a collision course in Week 10 next week at Bluffton. Does Grove have any chance of being tripped up in this one?
Nope. Give me Grove. The pick is Grove until it's not, which isn't anytime soon, including Week 10.
They'll have to be at their best. I can tell you the T-Birds are going to roll into Clymer Stadium with something to prove. You can heal some wounds if you can trip up a team like Columbus Grove, but with the pieces, the personnel Grove has, and the coaching and all those things, I mean, they've got it locked up pretty tight. And it ain't going to be easy. It's never easy against LCC. They've got some dudes, but Grove finds a way to get it done.
I agree. I'm going to take Grove in that one. You dusting off your Pirates hat for next week?
Tell you
got
what,
one, I know.
I can't wait.
I picked them to win the Northwest Conference.
Well, we're going to find out if you're going to stick to it next week.
I might or I might not. I don't
Unless
know.
that's our broadcast game.
I tell you what.
It's true.
You may get off the hook then.
Well,
Let's
with the
make it
Columbus
our
Grove, with the Columbus Grove
broadcast game.
folks.
I was going to say.
You got four guys out here that
About guarantee that's going to be the case.
they got their fists.
Yeah.
They want to know for next week.
You're going to have to wait a week.
Okay.
Get that eye patch in your back pocket.
Going to have to wait a week.
Can't wait.
Okay. All of us are going to take Grove to win this week. Bluffton, a little chink in their armor a week ago.
Yeah.
Fort Laramie put
Got
some
exposed
points on
a
them.
little bit.
Does that concern you as a big Pirate supporter?
It does. It does. They got exposed. They had some things exposed. I thought we were going to have to wait till week 10 for anything to be exposed with the Pirates, but Fort Laramie did it. So we'll see. But knowing Jeff Richards, those guys will come back better this week, and he'll have them ready to roll.
All right. In Northern Lakes League, going to start in the Buckeye Division. Anthony Wayne can lock up a share with a victory this week. Whitmer and Perrysburg both chasing them. Perrysburg at Anthony Wayne next week. Neil Schuller, you got your parking spot reserved for that one, or are you going somewhere else, week 10?
My parking spot's going to be at Anthony.
Am I allowed to spill the beans about where you're going week 10?
No, yeah, you can. I don't think it's not a super
no
big
secret?
mystery.
Okay.
Yeah, not a, yeah.
Be your game one game of the week.
Game one game of the week. Week 10 will be Perrysburg at Anthony Wayne. You got the NLL basically all cheering for Perrysburg to knock off Anthony Wayne because that lets Whitmer back in. But this week, we're talking about Springfield at Perrysburg. This is a case where a business trip for Perrysburg, even though they're not going anywhere, uphill battle in a significant way for Springfield, similar to what we saw last week when they played Anthony Wayne. This one's going to be all Perrysburg. Stay healthy, get the job done, get focused on week 10.
Isn't it a little early to be naming your Week 10 Game of the Week, Schuller?
No, it's not.
I'm kidding. We know that's going to be a pretty big matchup.
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, Springfield at Perrysburg, like you said. And here's the thing. Let's be honest. The Perrysburg coaches and AW coaches have spent some time the past week, with all due respect to their current opponents, they've been able to keep an eye on each other here. And, those scouting reports are pretty much set and ready to go here. Perrysburg rolls.
Yeah, I like the Jackets big in that matchup as well. Anthony Wayne at Northview. Maybe the only question here, can the Wildcats put any points on the board? Can they?
If Anthony Wayne lets them. I think it's going to be an uphill climb at that. You look, last week, Anthony Wayne was up 43-0 at the end of the first quarter. Just impressive what they're doing. Business trip for the Generals. Again, head up to Northview, get your business done, stay healthy, get ready for the Week 10 battle. Again, they clinch at least a share next week, but Andy Brungard crew is not going to be happy with a share. They're going to want the whole thing.
No, and I'll tell you what else Andy Brungard won't be happy with. A less than flawless performance at Northview this week, because
zero doubt about it.
That game's the score's going to take care of itself in this game, okay? But that's not going to be good enough for Anthony Wayne. You want to be playing at fever pitch level going into that Perrysburg game, and so I don't care if they're up 42-0 in that Northview game. If they start getting sloppy and things like that, Andy's going to nip that real quick. So AW rolls.
Yep, AW gets the win for me as well in that one. Whitmer is at Findlay, a big Region 1 battle as far as some computer points go there.
It is, and this is a chance for Findlay to move up in Division I, Region I, sitting at 3-5 right now. They've been on a bit of a skid here with Anthony Wayne and Perrysburg losses back-to-back. Whitmer coming to town doesn't get any easier for Findlay at all. Whitmer clicking, as it were, the big victory over Perrysburg that they rebounded from Anthony Wayne. Took care of business at Northview last week for homecoming. The Panthers are going to go on the road here and get it done with Findlay. I think that I don't know the status of Landon Eckelberry. I know that he got banged up last week. Riley Corcus came in, and both capable young men at that quarterback position. But, if the cadence gets a little different, the feel gets a little different, the consistency there is something that's important. So we'll see how that works, but I don't think it's going to matter. Whitmer gets it done on the road.
Neil, what percent do you give Findlay to win this game?
35.
Okay.
You give them that much?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Well, and I look back, they were ahead of Anthony Wayne at the half, and they're a dangerous team if they're clicking on all cylinders, and a Whitmer team comes in and goes, okay, you know what, we're gonna roll this game, no problem. Findlay can be a dangerous team if you're not careful, but they have to be hitting on all cylinders.
And Findlay should be.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You talk about resources and personnel and just about everything you need.
In spades.
Yeah, so they should be. They need to get off to a fast start and feel good early and get some confidence, because if that Whitmer snowball gets rolling, they're going to light that scoreboard up. I like Whitmer. I was going to ask, and Lynn asked the percent chance, so that answered my question. Does Findlay have any hope? And they do.
Take that 35% chance.
No, not
you don't want to listen to the expert?
Whitmer will double them up. It'll be 42.
Nobody likes somebody that picks the favorite all the time like you do.
It'll be
Go out on a limb.
It'll be 42-21. I'll tell you what I almost did, and it's still stirring in my head if you let me switch it. I might have made a mistake taking Lipsick over Arlington. That's been bothering me since I made that pick.
I'll let you back in on that.
You can change it if you want.
I can't, no, because we're all the same. I'm going to write it, but I'm telling you.
Aiden Cavaney and crew?
I'm telling you, Arlington's probably going to win that game, but I'm not going to pick them because I'm not going to give you dogs a chance to get a game on me.
You're going to end up with another autograph sign at the rate you're going.
I know. You watch.
Well, we can just take it to Coach Kirkendall and have him sign it.
You watch. Arlington will win this game at Arlington. I'm not picking them, but you watch, they will. Let's go. That's going to bother me all freaking night.
Well, you still have about 15 minutes here of the show.
We'll give you at least one more opportunity.
You can keep thinking about it.
All right. It's going to bother me all night, guys.
All right. I'm going to take Whitmer in that matchup as well. NLL Cardinal Division this week. Clay has a share already wrapped up, as we mentioned, at Southview with an outright title on the line for the Clay Eagles.
Talking to the players and Coach Gallius as well, post-game at Clay, a lot to be happy about and celebrate last week, clinching that first share of the title in 42 years. But every single person I talked to said, no, share's not what we're after here. We're after the outright title, and we're coming for it. So they are keenly focused on what's ahead of them here with Southview. Can become outright champs with a victory this week on the road. Southview dropped one to Fremont Ross last week, 2 weeks ago to Bowling Green. Having a hard time kind of getting their footing and hitting week 9 here with a Clay team that is determined, that's hitting on all cylinders, and will become the Cardinal Division outright champions this year. Give me the Clay Eagles.
Let me ask you this. Will the Clay Southview game here, will it be closer than Clay Napoleon?
No.
Similar?
It won't be closer. It could be similar.
Okay. I just have a feeling it's going to be a little closer.
Here's what I would tell you. Are we going to see the Clay defense that played Napoleon, or are we going to see the Clay defense that, has played some of these other, like Bowling Green, losing by 2 or winning by 2, Ross, where they, had to get it done late in the game? Which defense is going to show up, Coach Gallius? You have those boys clicking like you did against Napoleon, this is going to be a similar or wider score. If not, Southview can bite you. Guys like Mo MacArthur, Will Mazies, they'll make you pay.
They're competitors. Will Mazies a competitor. This is a dangerous game for Clay. I'm telling you, this is a dangerous game for Clay. I'm going with them because of the X factor, Mason Heinschel. I mean, when you have a trigger man like that, even if you dig yourself a hole, that guy can bring you back. And Clay's going to win it, but I think they're going to have their hands full. I do
agree with that. I think it's going to be tight. Clay's going to get the victory, though.
Coach Hardy will have the Cougs ready.
Yes, he will.
Make no mistake.
Yes, he will.
If they win, I'll hang that helmet back up.
Okay. They got to earn it, though.
Yep. It's kind of fitting right here. I like it. Kind of balances out my area.
I'm going to try one of those Grove helmets on a little bit later.
There's two of them. Your honeydew?
Maybe the two of you can just line up.
I don't know that AJ Schaefer helmet will fit you.
Those shut DNAs, they have a little more room than some of the Rydell Speeds.
Southview needs a win. Their playoff hopes, they give them 1% at 13, 1% at 14, 2% at 15, and 1% at 16.
Ooh. Yeah, it's getting thin.
Now, that would change if they win this one because they're not.
Division II, Region 6 is it's loaded up. And congratulations, by the way, since we're on the topic of Clay, not only clinching, I believe they've clinched a playoff spot. With this win, I think that they'll clinch a home playoff spot. So
a place to be rocking, wouldn't it?
Oh, you bet.
Clay's got according to Drew Pastors, they give them a 1% chance at a 4 seed, 1% at 5, 80% at a 6 seed, 17% at a 7 seed, and then 2 is an 8 seed.
I have them about 6. So that makes sense. Yep.
Can't stumble here.
Nope. Also in the Cardinal Division this week, Bowling Green at Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon obviously licking their wounds a bit from that game last week. Played hard, just had a hard time getting the offense going against Clay. It doesn't negate the weapons that they have on that offense between Woods and Rubenstein and George Eggers running the ball. Owen Espinoza, plenty capable of getting it done. That said, you got a Bowling Green team coming in here with back-to-back wins in the last 2 weeks. They've got one of their best weapons as a defense is their offense. They are a run-first and run-often team, will grind down the clock and make possessions precious for the Wildcats. That's the thing that's got me nervous for Napoleon this week is what they do with the possessions that they have on offense because they could be much fewer than what they've had in previous weeks. That said, I like Napoleon at home, but I think that this one could be a little bit closer than what maybe people are giving it credit for.
Well, a couple weeks ago, Bowling Green went on the road to Clay and lost 24-22.
Yep.
That's got to get your attention, you know what I mean? I talked to Tyler Swery Friday night before the Clay game, and he talked about how impressed he was with Bowling Green's defense in the film he has seen. Here's what I'll say about Napoleon. When you look at statistically, I talked about this on Rise and Rewind, in their 4 losses, they couldn't run the ball an inch. And when they're at their best, we know they can throw it, you know, with Rubenstein, Woods, everything you said, Espinoza, those guys. But they've got to be able to run the football consistently. And if they can't, then Bowling Green has a chance here. If they can get the run game going and then throw it when they want to, not because they have to. I like Napoleon. So I'm going with Napoleon at home. But if Bowling Green can play keep away, control the ball, control the clock, limit Napoleon's possessions, and they're going to have a chance. But I'm going with Napoleon to regroup this week.
See if I want to take a chance here. I'm not sure where you're going to go with that pick.
I'm telling you, that's close.
Yeah, it is. I
got to make up some ground, and I haven't picked a game different. I don't know how many more I have a chance.
One of the stats that you might want to watch here that could be the difference is time of possession.
Yeah.
That could be an X factor in this game.
Sure.
Give me BG. I'll pick up a game on you here.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up a game on you here.
There it is.
Oh.
They played Clay a lot tougher.
They did.
Napoleon.
Oh, there's no denying that.
No doubt.
I think this is I think it's almost a 50-50 game, honestly.
It probably is.
Close, maybe 55-45. I don't know.
It probably is.
They take the Bobcats.
I can't argue with that.
Jackson Schaefer, J.C. Shannon, those are formidable guys.
Yeah, and Napoleon's got to be able to run the football, and we'll see if they can.
Take another break, come back and talk about the Green Meadows Conference this week. K. Kern Painting is a proud sponsor of Northwest Ohio Athletics. K. Kern Painting was formed in 1998 by Kinsey Kern in Toledo and now has a footprint in Toledo, Cleveland, and Michigan, and has road crews traveling throughout the United States. For a free estimate or job opportunities with K. Kern Painting, visit their website at kkernpainting.com or call 419-351-1250 or stop by their Toledo location at 211 North Reynolds Road. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gerken Companies Green Meadows Conference. Tenora can lock up at least a share with a win this week, but they got a tough one at Paulding. Fairview is right behind them at 4-1. Going to start the GMC picks with Hicksville at Edgerton. Bulldogs had a lead on Fairview a week ago, but weren't able to hold on. They're sitting at 14th in Region 26, are the Bulldogs. Hicksville 23rd in Region 22. Both of them need some wins here, especially Edgerton, to solidify a playoff bid.
Yep, and I think that they get one at home this week. Just a little bit more consistent are the Edgerton Bulldogs than Hicksville. Hicksville's lost the last 3 straight. I like Edgerton to get it done at home, setting up a big Week 10 matchup against Tenora.
Yep, Edgerton rolls here. I have nothing to add, Neil.
Yep, I got the Bulldogs as well. Wayne Trace at Fairview. Wayne Trace 18th in Region 22, Division 6. Fairview is 5th in Region 22.
Fairview likes to live on the edge a little bit.
So does Wayne Trace.
So does Wayne Trace. Fairview has overcome it better than Wayne Trace. This game's at Fairview. Give me Fairview, but again, don't be surprised when we get that halftime score and it's knotted at 14 or something.
Yeah.
Wayne Trace been a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. The Fairview Apache are at home at the reservation. Give me the Apache.
Yeah, I'm going to take the safe pick in Fairview in this matchup. Antwerp 17th in Region 26. They are at Ayersville, who is 20th in Region 26. Two teams looking for a GMC victory. At least the Archers, I shouldn't say Ayersville. They got one over at Hicksville here a couple weeks ago.
This is one of those games I talked about, one of those 3 to 5 back at the beginning of the show. Where
these next two, this one and the next one.
You aren't kidding, 2 of them. But as much of a 50-50 coin toss game as we have on the docket this week, in this game, you even look back at common opponents that both have had. You don't learn anything there either. Give me the Archers on the road. I like Antwerp to get it done against Ayersville.
I'm going to let Lynn pick.
Let's go, Coach Hale.
I'm taking the Pilots.
I didn't think you would. I have trouble after what Ayersville did 2 weeks ago and the way Antwerp has been scuffling. Ayersville at home, I think they're smelling a second win here. I thought you'd go with Antwerp, Lynn, but nope. Ayersville at home, Tory can even. He's the man in this game. Give me Ayersville. I agree.
Okay. Tenora at Paulding.
I bet we'll be different here.
I bet we're not. You and I?
I bet we are.
Oh,
I bet we're different.
Okay. All right.
Guys,
Tenora
go ahead.
10th in Region 22. Paulding 13th in Region 22 going into the Week 9 clash here. And Paulding could really get Fairview right back in the mix here.
All right,
I'll kick her off. That's fine.
Okay.
That's give you boys time to stalemate a little bit.
I know.
Bit more,
I'm picking the Rams.
I'm not.
Okay.
We'll go.
Yeah, I'll kick it off.
Back within one game of you.
I'll kick it off.
Right back in this.
I thought about going with Tenora because that's the easy pick, because you look at history and all those things. If you're soft, you go with Tenora because it's the easy way out. But if I went with Tenora and Paulding won, I'd kick myself like I did in that A.W. Whitmer game. I'm not going to let it happen. Paulding is going to get it done. at home.
Eric Becker, get that pen ready to add to the sign.
They knock off the Rambos. I'm not even saying kick me because I have no regrets. Paulding gets it done at home.
Not so fast. Give me the Rambos at home to make it 6 in a row. W's. The Rambos get it done. Sorry, Coach Menzie, but you're dropping this one.
Coach Menzie knows I got his back.
What does that mean? Not much.
It means a heck of a lot.
A whole lot.
Those kids know. They're going to feel empowered.
Not
you guys
happening.
doubting them?
Not happening.
No, I don't think it's going to happen either. NWL this week, LC can lock up at least a share with a victory. PH is chasing them at 4-1. Going to start with Swanton at Evergreen.
Yeah, this one doesn't take a lot of analysis for me. I like Evergreen at home. Swanton continuing to reel and does so again this week. Give me the Vikes.
Yeah, they played a fellow 0-7 team last week and got whooped pretty good, and things don't get any better this week. Give me the Vikings at home.
Take the Vikings as well. Liberty Center is at Delta. Delta is 12th in Region 18. Liberty Center is second. Going to have a hard time catching Milan Edison unless they slip up here the final 2 weeks. Any chance? Do you give the Panthers any chance?
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. Not even one.
I would agree.
Okay.
Yep, Liberty Center for me too.
Yep, I'll take the Tigers in that one. Wasion at Bryan.
Bryan riding high off of that win last week. Got one in the W column, but it's going to be short-lived. I like Wasion in this one.
This is a tough pick. Wasion, I don't know what they are, man. And you said it, Neil. Bryan's riding high. And it's at Bryan. Mm-hmm. Take the easy way out like you guys do most of the time. I'm going with Wasion, but
We went through all that for you to pick Wasion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be within a score. Bryan's going to have a chance, but I just have a feeling they're going to turn it over or something.
How much does Wasion have in the tank after the losing to Archbold? Big rivalry game. That was probably what they kind of put their season into here late in the year.
Yeah.
But I think they have enough to beat Bryan. I'm going to take the Indians.
Yep. I go back to week 4 where they played Swanton. They won 42-7. Bryan won 35-13. So, common opponent.
Yeah. I think it'll be a touchdown type game. I really do. I know the records are quite a bit different, but
be close.
It'll be close.
Archbold at Big Red Stadium to face the Patrick Henry Patriots this week. Archbold 11th in Region 18. PH is 4th in Region 22.
Patrick Henry's going to win this one. They're going to be too much at home. I like how they're rolling. It's going to be too much for Archbold. Give me the Patriots.
I think Archbold's only chance is if they can somehow slow down Lincoln Krager. They're going to need a couple turnovers. They're going to need Patrick Henry to play about their C game. They're going to have to bring their A game to just have a chance.
Do they have a chance? Less than 10% would be mine.
It's 10%. That's what I was going to say. 10% chance. Patrick Henry, they've got really good players, but their coaches, I've said it a million times, they are so good at getting those guys refocused week after week after week. I guarantee you that Delta game's not even mentioned now. It's all Archbold. And Patrick Henry rolls, I think.
I'm going to take PH in that one. We're going to take our final break, come back, and talk about our non-conference games this week.
High school seniors, uncertain that college is right for you? Concerned about the cost of higher education? At the Gerken Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods even without a degree. That's a good living straight out of high school with no tuition debt. Starting pay between recent college grads and those with high school diplomas is closer than you might think. So if you enjoy teamwork, working outdoors, and being part of something meaningful, consider your options at GerkenCompanies.com/careers.
non-conference games this week. Going to start with Manchester at North Central, home of the one Rex Lindgren. Akron, Manchester.
Yep.
They have a statue up for him over there. Do you know?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. As old as Coach Lindgren is, every year at the state clinic, I loved talking to a guy by the name of Jim France. Okay, Jim France, a coaching legend there at Manchester, and he coached Coach Lindgren back in the day at Akron, Manchester, and so getting some stories and some insight from Jim France was pretty cool. Rex was pretty tough, boys, I'm going to tell you. Rex was pretty tough. And when you say his name back in Akron, in the Manchester area, they know who he is, believe it or not. He was tough. And Manchester wins this football game.
Yep, they got Manchester too.
Same here, Manchester.
Central Catholic at St. Francis for the Irish Knight. First time in a while that maybe the Knights do they have a chance?
They have a chance. They have a chance.
Slap a percentage on that, Schuller. We talked about this on Rise and Rewind a little bit, but you're the guru.
I would give them
25%.
25 was the number I was settling on. I mean, St. Francis is going to have to bring their A game. Turnovers are going to matter. You're going to have to protect the football, maybe get a bounce your way here or there. But St. Francis has got a chance in this game. It's our game one game of the week, so I am out on this call. But, yeah, I mean, I think you have two teams. For the first time in a long time, you know, St. Francis has got a chance. It's going to be a competitive game. It's a rivalry game as much as the St. Francis St. John's game. Central coming in, you know, did not look that good against Orchard Lake St. Mary's a week ago. Found a way to get it done, as they often do. This will be a matchup. It's a battle at the Glass Bowl this week, so it'll be a rocking atmosphere. Should be a good one.
So I just looked back at something because my wheels were turning. I don't think North Central plays the Rex Lindgren Akron Manchester.
Oh, it's not the Akron Manchester. Okay.
No, it's just Manchester in Adams County, Manchester, Ohio. They're 3-4. And
is that the Greyhounds?
Yeah, Manchester Greyhounds. I knew there were two, and I had to look that up. But actually, Cal Preps, we're all going to stick with Manchester because we picked them, right? But Cal Preps has North Central winning that one.
Do they?
Razor thin.
Okay. Now
So,
I'm going to take Manchester.
Yeah, I am too. Interesting, though.
Yeah.
But Rex Lindgren was still a bad man at Akron, Manchester.
Yeah. Central Catholic, you like the Irish this week, Strock?
Yeah, I'm going with Central Catholic, but will be on the edge of my seat because I want to see how, if Josh Linke's able to shrink that margin there between the two programs. And I'm going with Central Catholic, but boy, if St. Francis starts fast and gets a little momentum, maybe gets a turnover, can they be there in the fourth quarter? Can you imagine?
They've got big playmakers to make it happen.
Yeah.
Guys like Eli Beal and Corey Swartz.
Do they have enough in the trenches to lock horns with Central or not? Is that where the biggest difference?
They've got some dudes, Jermaine Polk and company up front. They've got some dudes. You know, it's going to wear on you for 4 quarters against Central Catholic. There's no question about it. But I can tell you, looking at that front against St. John's, the one time that I've seen them live, they wore them down in 4 quarters as St. Francis boys up front. So Deion Banks, Jermaine Polk, look out.
Let me ask you this. I asked Lynn this Saturday morning. So I said, if I'm out in Vegas and I'm setting a line on this game, I'm setting it at 14.5 points, okay? Central's a 14.5 point favorite for those out there that like to bet. Does St. Francis cover that?
They could.
Okay.
They could. Not saying they will, but they could.
Interesting.
Very definitive answer there.
Hey, I got to be neutral here. I'm calling. This is my game of the week. I got to stay neutral.
That's right.
I've got to stay neutral.
Stop asking stupid questions.
It's a great question because there's people out there going, "Damn, that's a good question, Strock."
It's a good question, but you're going to answer something like that. I'm going to give you that type of answer given my position this week.
I don't know that I would have answered any different to be honest with you.
They could.
Yeah,
As evasive as you could get. Didn't slip up, Schuller. Good
No,
job.
that was good, Neil.
Yeah, I got to
See what you guys try to do. Get me in these bear traps. And ain't happening.
I like
Got to be pretty coy.
I like Central Catholic in that matchup too. St. Francis isn't quite there. Not saying they can't win it, but I think that'll be a good clash there at the Glass Bowl. Richmond Heights is at Eden. This is going to be an absolute blowout. Eden could score 200 if they probably wanted to.
I agree.
I'm taking the Bombers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the question's gonna be, do you rest a couple of your key guys?
Well, you can after about 3 plays.
Yeah.
They'll have 21 points.
Yeah.
It's reality.
I'm sorry, I'm
No,
just being honest. I don't care if Richmond Heights people are listening or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bomber ball rolls in this one, boys. And listen, keep them healthy. You got bigger business week 10.
Yeah. Bomber ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me Eden.
How about Fremont Ross hosting Waite? Little Giants have any troubles in that one?
Nope, not at all.
No.
They'll roll.
Yeah.
You gonna let me revisit that Arlington Lipsick game real quick?
Last chance.
Go ahead.
Last chance.
I'm not gonna do it.
So dramatic.
I just
Added 10 minutes to this show because he's got to be dramatic.
Easily 10 minutes.
let's stay with Lipsick. But
Doors closed. Going once.
Arlington's gonna win that. You watch. But let's go.
Going twice.
Let's go. Nope.
Done.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in this week. Remember, next week, Wednesday, our podcast will be released. Have a great week. We will talk to you again then.